This is Scott, the Fix It Guy. Today we're doing an unboxing of a device one of my customers designed, and it is pretty cool. Its design is to help prevent a lot of house fires that sometimes are from appliances that overheat or malfunction. He had a neighbor of his who had a Bosch dishwasher, and it caught fire and created a pretty bad fire in the kitchen. Luckily, nobody got hurt. I actually did a video on a Bosch dishwasher that I came upon that stopped working, and it had a pretty toasty controller. So, actually sent me two of these because I'm going to test it on two different applications. And it's actually two things. Enjoying a little Pete's coffee here and going over a product that one of my customers had sent me. He designed this and has it in production. It's pretty cool though. What it is a outlet that you put into your house, power outlet, that you plug an appliance into. So he mentions that over half of house fires originate with an appliance that has malfunctioned and created a little fire, a little heat, and that spreads maybe to the cabinet around it and then causes the house fire. So he saw that that was happening, it was prevalent, and he decided to create a device that could get in the way of that. And this is just your regular type of outlet. It's easy to wire. Put your ground wire here. You put a power wire here, the load wire, the black one. This one is the white one. Easy to install. And what it does is if the device senses that there's some heat, excessive heat or smoke, it'll cut the power, and that'll stop the whole fire from really getting going, because without power, the device electronics that were malfunctioning will not overheat. So it's really a neat idea. Could stop a lot of house fires. It's always paired, this outlet is always paired with this sensor, and the sensor is designed to sense both heat and smoke. By the way, when you get this outlet in this box, it does come with a couple of these white screws, which are used to hold on your face plate that goes over your new outlet, and some really good instructions on how to wire it. Also, it has some other type of sensors that can plug into the interlock into this thing. Not only does it have one for heat and smoke, but it also says it has a general purpose limit switch you can plug in, also a blade limit switch, and a remote thermostat switch. So it's pretty slick. But today we'll be doing one for a appliance, and we're going to put this over top my microwave oven in the kitchen. So it'd be really good to have that safety. So in this box, when you pull it out, you're going to get your temperature alarm, and it's just giving the rating of what temperature it'll activate, the sensitivity. And it's really well made, well designed. Comes in a little bag. You pull the sensor out, and this box also comes with some screws to mount the sensor, and also some really good instructions on how it works. It also shows how to do the wiring in case you lost the one for your outlet. That's pretty smart. So this has a little modular plug, this thing, and it plugs into here once you have this installed. So you can install this first, install this one second, plug it in, and this is the little red light that blinks, just an indicator light that lets you know that it's powered. And I believe this one is a reset button, so if it got tripped for whatever reason, you corrected the issue, you wanted to kind of reset it, I think you press that button there. And then a couple holes here for easy mounting. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It's called a smoke and heat sensor. So looking at the directions, I stand corrected. This is just a testing button. So they want you to test maybe once a year, make sure everything's functioning. When you press that, it's going to cut power to your appliance, and then it will also put out an audible alarm, which is pretty cool. So this is a little bit of the information. If the smoke sensor is triggered by smoke or heat, the audible alarm will sound continuously. The LED on the sensor will be in a steady on condition, and the outlet power will turn off, indicated by a steady red LED on the outlet. So usually it'll be green right here on the outlet if it's all functional, but if the power got killed because of a problem or when you're testing it, it'll show red. That's really good. So you'll have the audible alarm, and the sensor LED will be continuously even after the smoke dissipates or the environment cools. The outlet power will remain off, indicated by the LED on the outlet. To reset the system, clear the smoke and or heat and disconnect the matching connector. So you have to disconnect that connector at the outlet and then plug it back in and verify the LED flashes one time every 6 seconds. Oh, that's cool. So if it did get triggered and now the situation is cleared, there's no more problem, you're still going to have that alarm going. And to stop that, you just take this black modular plug, remove it from here, and then that'll cause a reset, and then just put it back in there and you're done. This shows an application of a dishwasher. So they have the dishwasher inside the cabinet, and we have our device up here above the dishwasher. That'd be really good because heat and smoke rises. Behind it would work too, but if you do go behind it, you want to mount it up kind of high up. And then that plugs into the outlet, and then the sensor is right there, and then your appliance plugs into the bottom aspect. That's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and put that in position. This could, of course, be done. This could be used for above your microwave. Your dishwasher would be great because there's a lot of indication of dishwashers having fires. In fact, the inventor of this one, he really got motivated from his neighbor who had a Bosch dishwasher that the controller had malfunctioned and it caught fire and burned part of his kitchen. Luckily they caught it before it got really, really bad. And I've done some videos on Bosch dishwashers that I've opened up and found evidence of a pretty bad fire that had occurred. So definitely does happen. Definitely there's other appliances who could have problems. Washers and dryers, same thing. So pretty nifty device. So we'll be installing this today on the microwave oven, and then a built-in microwave oven, and then we'll have another video where we install the same device with a Bosch dishwasher. And today we're installing a pretty cool device from Docking Drawer. They are a nice company that makes electrical devices that can help with having better fire safety in your home. And about 50% of house fires are originated from appliances. And today we're going to be putting in a safety interlock for a built-in microwave. And what this does is it sits above your microwave, and if your microwave had something go wrong with it, like a short circuit and there's a small fire that originated, or even a component that was getting really hot and starting to smoke, comes up into this, and this sends a signal down into this, which cuts power to your microwave, and that'll just stop that whole problem. And usually microwave ovens have a outlet above them somewhere. In this case, there's a vent going up and there's an outlet here. So what I'll do is I'll replace the existing outlet with this one, and I'll put this detector above the microwave. Probably I'll just remove this panel or somewhere around where the ducting goes up, and it should be pretty easy. I think I'll just need standard head or flathead screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver. It's kind of a tight area, so I might use a smaller one like a stubby. And what I'll do first is turn off the power so I can redo this outlet. So I'm going to go to the house fuse box and just turn off the breaker that's the dedicated breaker for this microwave oven. And one way you can make sure your power is the right breaker is once you turn it off, you should notice that your microwave doesn't work. There's no display, there's no light, fan doesn't work, nothing's working. You know you got the right one. So we'll do that first for safety. The home's fuse box, we're just going to open that up and we're going to turn off the breaker that's dedicated for the microwave oven, which in this case is this lower one. So turn that off and we'll just double check we have the right one. These are all on, that's off. We'll turn that back on later once we do the install. I'm noticing my clock display is out, nothing's working, so I know I have the right one. Go ahead and unplug this one. And I just have to take out a couple of flatheads. I've got this little angle tool because this is kind of a tight spot. And that should make it pretty quick and easy to get these out. Okay, got that one. Take off this faceplate. And we can see that there are a couple of screws holding the outlet in. And these appear to be Phillips heads, so we'll switch to a different bit. Phillips head bit. Take these guys out. Alright, that one. Out. Okay, got it. And we'll go ahead and pull the outlet out so we can get to the wiring. Get the old outlet pulled out. We're going to remove the ground wire, and the black is the load and the white is the neutral. Whenever you do these wiring, the black always goes to the brass, the gold colored one. Just think about black B to brass B, and then the other side will be silver color. So first though, we'll get off this ground screw. Just got to undo this one, and typically it'll either be wrapped around. I think in this case you can just pull it out. I'll use my needle nose pliers. Needle nose pliers, pulling that ground wire out of the old outlet. And in this case it's kind of a tight spot here, but we got that out. Take the load one off. That's the black one. And then if you look at the other side, you'll have like a silver, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but that's a kind of a brass piece behind it, and then a silver screw. So the silver one always goes to the white or neutral, and the black coated one always goes to the brass color, just so you don't get them mixed up. So I'm just going to loosen this silver screw so I can get this one out. That's the neutral. So whenever you want to get these out, you just undo the screw, and then when you put them in, you tighten it up. So this is the old outlet. We're going to put in the new one. Here's the new one. We're going to be plugging in the power. If we look at this one, we see it's very similar. We have a hole that we can put in for the ground screw. We have one that's brass, so that's for the black, and we have silver, which is for the neutral. These little holes in the back, you can put the wire into either one of these, doesn't matter. And the other option is you can do the old-fashioned way where you curl the wire, make like a U, and that goes around. In this case it would go underneath and around, and then you can tighten it up. But it's just easier just to push it in. You can see I've got about more than half an inch stripped, and then it'll go way in there, and then you can tighten it up. So it should be pretty easy. We're just going to loosen these before we put the screws in. This is the ground one. I'm going to loosen that one up. A couple of turns. This is the brass for black or for load. I'm going to loosen that one up a little bit. This is the silver for white, which is the neutral. I loosen that one up a little bit. And then I can put the wires in and tighten it up. So I think I'm going to do the neutral first, which is going to go into either one of these. That's the white one. Your arrangement's probably a little bit easier than this. You're not working at such a tight spot, but not that bad. So we're going to push that in as far as that wire will go. You can see that there's no wire exposed. It's just insulation now, which is great. And we just tighten that screw, and that's going to lock it down on that white wire. That's so cool. Easy to do. Now we have the load one, the black one. That's going to go in where the brass one was. Either one of those holes will be fine. Get this ground one out of the way. And again, this is a little bit of a cramped arrangement here. So I got my needle nose pliers. They're going to kind of help me to get that to go in nice and deep. That's great. And I'll go ahead and tighten that up using a flathead screwdriver. You could use a Phillips head to work too. Get nice and snug. And we have one more, and then we're pretty much done with just getting this outlet, and we just have to put it back in. So I'm going to, you could wrap it around this ground screw, but I'm going to do that same arrangement where I go into the hole, use my needle nose to help me. That's good. I could tell that it went in there pretty deep. Tighten that ground screw now. Ground screws are always green. Helps you remember. Sometimes we call it earth screws. So we're all in position. We're looking good. We're just going to get that straight, put it back in the box. In my case, I think I'm going to get rid of these mounting screws, and I'll use the ones that I had before because they fit better into this blue plastic box that the outlet goes into. So I'm going to push this in, and then I'll put those screws back in. And kind of wiggle and push, and what that does is it pushes those wires in to the back of the box. Yeah, that's good. Now I'll go and add the screws. I'm just going to remove this little panel so I can get in there and put in the device that could sense smoke or heat. So in this case, you just undo these screws. Sometimes if you have a panel like this, it might just be stapled in too, but easy to get these off. New outlet in the box. We're going to put the face plate on there. Add these two little white screws to hold on the face plate, and these are just flathead. I'm just going to start them by hand. And the kit comes with a couple of these. If you lose them, you can just use the one from your old one too, your old plate. One thing we'll notice is that this is more of a modern face plate, and this is a modern type of a outlet. It's square. The old-fashioned ones are more rounded. I'm sure yours will be square too because it's a modern application. We got the new outlet in there, and we have the face plate. So now we'll take this unit, which is the sensor, and we need to have it ideally placed above the microwave oven. So we need to run this wire, goes from the sensor to the interlock. The interlock is just the new outlet we installed that can turn off when this senses smoke or heat. So I'm going to run this through the same little hole that the cord came through. Comes up through there. And that just plugs in. So we're just going to get that into position, lock it in, so that's locked in. Get rid of the slack. And now, in this installation, we'll go ahead and put a zip tie around this cord. This installation, the microwave has a vent that takes air up to the roof, and there's a opening here. So if there ever was any smoke or heat, it would come up this heat rises. So if I have this device installed here or at the top, it's going to do great. And it comes with a couple of nice little set screws, so I'll use those to zip this in. I think I'll put it over here, kind of near the outlet. And I'll just put in those 4 Phillips head screws. I'm just going to start the first screw. It's going into particle board here. I'll back that out, and then it'll be easier to do the other ones. I'm going to put this in this position so I have this little button available to me. I think it's a reset. Alright, get that into position, tighten that one up. Get it nice and square, and then we can install the other one, the other screws. Alright, got our screws in there. We'll go ahead now and plug in our microwave oven to the interlock, to the new outlet, and we're going to turn on the breaker and just give it a little test. We are at the home breaker box. We're going to turn that dedicated 20 amp fuse back on, our breaker for the microwave. It's on. Close that. Alright, we turn on the breaker. We've got power, so everything's working fine. So what will happen, you can see we have a green light here. What will happen is if something went wrong in the microwave and the heat or smoke came up here, it's in this area, it's going to be picked up by this sensor, and that is going to send a signal through here, and it's going to cut off power to the microwave. You have a little indicator light that'll blink red about every 5 seconds. That's just telling you that it is functioning and active. So we're just putting this panel back up, and that's going to be good. If there's any smoke or heat, it's going to come up and get kind of trapped in here and activate this, which will cut out power here to the microwave. We're going to actually do the same procedure for the dishwasher. We'll have another device. We'll do the same thing. Show you guys in the next video. Alright, we're all done, and we have a really cool safety feature now built in. Let's wire a little bit out of the way. So if we ever have trouble with the microwave overheating, we're not going to get a house fire. And we're going to be doing a similar thing for the dishwasher in the next video. Alright, thanks so much for watching, and we do have a link for this in the description below where you can order it and get yours. When I got one, it only took about 1 day to get it, so it's really good shipping. Thanks for watching.